Okay. Live stream is going. Bump. Receiving content. 30 seconds in. Yada, yada, yada. Hello. Everybody's watching. If you're watching, who knows? Hi. There, now it's on me. No chroma key. Don't know why. Messed up. Oh, we don't know what the hell we're gonna talk about. We gotta figure this out first.
Let's see. I think the Deadpool release date and the pushback of New Mutants is pretty good. I want to talk about that Darth Vader comic a little bit too. And the Mace Windu one that I just finished up as well.
Okay, so all right, BJ Comics, and trying to think. We haven't talked about Last Jedi.
We have not, no.
All right. I've got some things to say for that. Yeah. What else? Well, the shows are just getting started, so we don't really have much.
I watched Supergirl last night.
I didn't get to watch Supergirl. I'm caught up on The Gifted.
I haven't watched The Gifted.
Okay.
So I haven't watched that. That was on last night too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. I watched Supergirl over The Gifted. I'll probably watch The Gifted later. I started watching The Punisher.
I've finished Punisher.
I'm 4 episodes into The Punisher.
All right, we could talk about Punisher.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 4 episodes into that, and I love every second of it.
What about any games or?
I don't have any new games. I've been playing Lego Batman 3 lately.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't have anything new.
All right, I can make a mention of something I'm working with for the old City of Heroes game. So, you want to lead off with the comics, or you want to go into, or you want to just start with like Last Jedi and Punisher and?
No, I think we can lead off with the comics and Punisher and stuff. We could do. I think we save the Star Wars for last and wrap up the show with
Last Jedi for the end.
Last Jedi for last.
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi for last.
Right.
Had a little Twitter exchange with Cullen Bunn as they're bringing Conan back to Marvel Comics.
Really?
From Dark Horse.
Neat.
And he just did the most recent run. So we could talk about that too.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, we could talk a little bit about all right. So, comics, Punisher. I could talk about my little game thing. Last Jedi. I can't think. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else.
I
mean, we could.
Black Panther's coming out in a couple weeks, February.
Okay.
We've gotten to see a couple more trailers for that.
Yeah. And then we've got Avengers in May, right?
Avengers in May. They confirmed that the second season of... Oh, and then the Deadpool release date is May 18th. So we got to talk about like what's going to be happening with the Fox properties now that they're Disney owned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we definitely got to talk about... should that lead off? I think that should lead off.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. That's a pretty big deal. Okay, so I got Fox, Disney. Then we can go into the comics if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Then Punisher, my little game thing. I can even move the little game thing. Then we can do Black Panther, Avengers, Deadpool, and then Last Jedi is last. Okay. All right. So put that down here. Take that away from there. Okay. Got it. All right. We got it. We got a thing.
Yeah.
All right. And all right, that's good. I'll put audio. All right. So the stream's going. All that's on the stream. Big deal. Who cares?
Enjoy.
It's all good. This is how this is how nobody wants to know how the sausage is made when it comes to radio.
Right. Don't tell me what's in the hot dog.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Yeah.
It's
all right.
Testicles.
Ouch. All right. Here we go.
Both strap yourselves in. I'm going to make a jump to light speed.
My name is Barry Allen, and I am the fastest.
Another name you might know me by.
Star.
My name is Oliver Queen.
You'll be hearing from us.
From the Strategic Homeland.
Just call us Chief.
Your Highness, the transmission we received. What is it they've sent us?
Hope.
And here we go.
Excelsior!
Well, here we are broadcasting live from the Blackbird It is the Geek Show.
The Blackbird?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we can call it the Blackbird.
Yeah. Isn't that that's the X-Men show?
That's the
isn't
X-Men's
it?
plane, the
Yeah,
Blackbird.
the Blackbird.
Yeah.
My name is BJ. With me is Big Reach. Reach? Big Rich.
Hi, I've gone Scandinavian.
This is the Geek Show episode number. I'm not
57.
Sure. All right,
57.
All right, episode 57 of the Geek Show. Thank you for tuning in and joining us wherever you have found us. If you found us on the stream, on YouTube or Facebook, if you found us via Podcastpedia, Stitcher, iTunes, the iHeartRadio app.
Yeah.
Any way that you have found us. Thank you so much for tuning in.
We're all over the place.
Yeah, we are.
If you're watching the live stream, you'll notice I've got green behind me. It's because my chroma key for some setting doesn't work, so the magic is gone.
Ah,
it's over.
It's fake.
Know.
It's fake.
It's all fake. But I've been meaning to. I've been wanting to change out the green screen for a black.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I want a real wall back there that I could put shelves and stuff up. So I got a ton of memorabilia over there that I can't do anything with.
Lots of fun stuff.
Yeah, my award from work and all that kind of stuff. But what are you gonna do?
Fancy, Rich.
Yeah, fancy schmancy here. We're fancy schmancy up here in upstate New York.
So the reason why we're broadcasting from the Blackbird is because we wanted to kind of talk about some of this Fox Disney stuff.
Yes.
To start the show off.
Very big news. There.
Because what was it? A couple months ago, it was 100% solidified that Disney had acquired the movie and television properties from 21st Century Fox.
Yeah. Did you notice how everybody there's rumors flying? There's rumors flying.
Yeah.
Fox and no, there's nothing like that going on. No, nothing to see here. Leslie Nielsen telling you to move along.
It was the same exact thing that happened
with Sony.
Yeah, Sony and Spider-Man. It's like the rumor was out there and then nothing, and then it was like, well, it's pretty much a done deal, and then we found out it was a done deal.
Yep.
So that means that Disney, who also happens to own Marvel, now has under their belt the ability to, I would assume, do things with people in the X-Men and the Fantastic Four universe.
Right. Now the question is, because of the way the MCU is set up, where they have they don't have mutants.
Yeah.
Are we going to see MCU? Are we going to see a fusion of this now? Is everything that Bryan Singer has done and has built up to now, is that going away? Are we going to now see, are we going to see somebody else playing Wolverine in the MCU?
Yeah, that's some big shoes to fill if that's the case.
Exactly. Hugh Jackman is no slouch.
I just at this point in time, I don't know if it's necessary to bring it into the current MCU. I think it would make it a little bit wonky.
It would be kind of confusing, I think.
We can't just shoehorn them in just because you can.
Well,
it would be cool. Like,
many have tried.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that, there was some news last week with some Fox properties coming out. Deadpool 2 got its release date. It's going to be May 18th, which is interesting because we haven't even seen a trailer for it yet.
Yeah, not really too much. I mean, we've seen a lot of those little funny videos that Ryan likes to do. I like the Bob Ross one.
Right.
That was good.
I'm just waiting. So now I'm just anxiously sitting there waiting to see, well, when the heck are we going to get a trailer for this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to see some stuff. We've seen the teaser images of Josh Brolin as Cable, the Thanksgiving photo.
Yeah,
but
there's no big cons coming up that they could throw this out at.
No, all I can think of is maybe we get the trailer before Black Panther, which comes out in February.
Oh, wait a minute.
Right?
Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Super Bowl.
Super Bowl would be, that is a good thing. Good sports knowledge, Rich.
Yeah.
Rich gets a medal.
Go sports ball.
Yeah. Yeah, the Super Bowl is coming up. Maybe my Philadelphia Eagles will be in it. We'll have to wait and see.
I have nothing to brag about. My Jets suck.
Sorry. But yeah, no, man, the Super Bowl, that could be good. Deadpool teaser during the Super Bowl, but
that would be kind of interesting.
What has been happening with some of this Disney-owned properties is like it either gets the big premiere during Good Morning America or Jimmy Kimmel gets the exclusive.
I bet Jimmy Kimmel's going to get the exclusive for Deadpool just because Deadpool is nowhere near Good Morning America kind of content. No way. Ryan Reynolds, no.
Right.
He would whip his genitalia out.
I'm just wondering like when we get it and how we get it, and does the fact that Disney now owns 21st Century Fox and the movies and the television, does that have any effect on the release dates of these films? Because May 18th is pretty close to when Avengers Infinity War is coming out. Obviously you're going to get people that are going to be going to see both of those movies. They're not going to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
If anything, they're going to go see them both on the same weekend or the same day.
Possibly.
You know what I mean? Like that's just how people roll these days.
Maybe Disney will get creative and actually do like a double feature by
that would be crazy. I doubt that.
But still, that'd be kind of cool. Or maybe the theaters might be able to do it. They might have the ability to set that kind of thing up.
I don't know. Did you see all the stipulations that they had put in place for Star Wars at some of these theaters?
Yes,
so
it's
has to play in the
getting ridiculous.
The main theater for this many weeks, and if we find out that you took it out, you can no longer play it, and all this other stuff. It's pretty crazy.
It's getting really stupid for that kind of stuff.
Very stupid.
And I'm a big Star Wars, and we're going to talk about Last Jedi later on in the show. But honestly, that kind of stuff is getting really. It's stupid. I mean, it's like all the writers you hear about from all the musicians.
Right.
Who's the one that wanted nothing but green? All the colors of the M&Ms, but no green ones or something like that.
Right. So
or no brown ones.
Who's the green M&M picker out?
Yeah.
How do you get that job?
Who's that dude?
Yeah. How do you get that job?
He's sitting there with tweezers and
give it to Billy. Billy, pick out the green M&Ms.
Give it to Mikey. He'll eat anything.
Yeah. Go do that, man.
I saw him eat a mouse one time on the Grateful Dead tour back in '70.
If I pick out the green M&Ms, you guys let me come on stage? Yeah, whatever, Billy.
Yeah.
Comes time to come on stage. Billy doesn't get to go on stage.
Throw him out, and he can crowd surf and get dropped.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm curious about that. They also pushed the date of the New Mutants movie.
Yeah.
Which is starring Maisie Williams and a few other people. It looks like a crazy movie.
Now, who's Maisie playing? Is she
Wolfsbane?
Wolfsbane. She is Wolfsbane.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that ought to be cool.
It's the trailer. It looks dark. It looks like horror.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It looks very horror movie-ish, and I'm not a big horror fan, but I may for this because I'm a big Illyana. I like Illyana Magic.
Yeah. Magic is great.
Colossus's sister. I like her. I read a lot of her, standalone comics and also New Mutants that featured her.
Yep.
So I may have to go to this one, even though I'm not a big horror fan. If they're gonna throw it out at us like a horror movie,
I think
it looks good.
Right now, it looks like the trailer seems scary. I think we're looking at more of like a psychological thing, almost like the Legion show that was on FX.
Yeah.
Which was fantastic. Fox is doing a great job with the X-Men driven television shows. We both like The Gifted a lot.
Yeah.
Way more than we thought we would. And I really, really enjoyed Legion.
I'm wondering if Fox actually, before the whole merger, if they actually talked to Marvel and got some hand holding on what to do with these properties. I think
they gotta exist on their own at this point until you wrap things up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Their plan, like Dark Phoenix comes out this year as well.
Yes.
So we haven't seen anything about Dark Phoenix, but we were pretty under wraps as far as Apocalypse was concerned.
Well, I've seen a couple of pictures in Entertainment Weekly of Sophie as Jean Grey, and wow. It looks good.
It's pretty crazy the way that things are working out right now. Marvel has acquired the X-Men. They're going to do Dark Phoenix again with this round of movies and everything, which, is it too soon? That's a debate for a whole other show. But now they're bringing Jean Grey back into the comics with X-Men Red in February, where they're doing a whole Phoenix Resurrection thing in the comics, and then Jean Grey is going to be back with her own team, and I believe that team is going to have Submariner on it and everything. So
what?
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy team of X-Men. They've got the two teams right now: X-Men Red or X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold.
Yeah.
Which I just picked up the X-Men Gold annual yesterday. I went to Earthworld and raided the comic shop a little bit. Got the annual for X-Men Gold. Where they were doing a 30th anniversary of Excalibur type thing. So,
wow.
They sent Kitty Pryde and Kurt and all of them back over to London.
Oh, cool.
To visit Captain Britain, and so that was a lot of fun.
Is Megan still?
Yes, they are married and they have a child, a very smart child.
Ooh.
So there you go.
Oh, I'm so out of it. I loved.
Well,
Excalibur.
I haven't read.
I've got a few. Yeah. I got a few issues.
I have not read Excalibur in a very long time, so that was kind of a cool little issue, bringing it back. Like, hey, don't forget about these guys over here, saving the world in England sometimes.
Oh, hell yeah!
And having a family apparently.
Kitty Pryde, yeah.
Yeah.
Her and Colossus don't even want to go there. How that went. How did that work?
Right, I know.
So
it'd be hard. She's invisible.
Yeah.
Well, not invisible. She can do whatever Vision and Martian Manhunter do.
True. Yeah. True. But transitioning into the comics and everything, you've got some some stuff that you want to talk about in regards to the comics.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Darth Vader comic.
Right.
You were talking about off the air.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. Charles Soule or Soul. I can't pronounce it. But I just picked up the trade paperback for Darth Vader Volume 1 that he is working on called Imperial Machine. These comics, unlike the other Darth Vader comics that had come out previously, this is starting over. It's a whole new line of Darth Vader comics. I believe that they're up to issue 10 at this point. So I've got 1 through 7 that I'm reading through right now. And I got to tell you, it's awesome. It picks up right after episode 3. So you're kind of getting that backstory of almost like that 20-year gap of how did Vader become Vader?
Yeah.
You know, because we saw, you know, the destruction of Anakin.
Yeah.
But we didn't see him become Vader. You know, you just almost assume at the end of episode 3 when the Emperor and Tarkin and Vader are all standing there that, all right, and the Empire is born. Like,
yes.
There we go. You know, full steam ahead. But I think that there's a lot more growing to do.
Yeah.
I just read the Darth Maul comic too that Cullen Bunn had done.
Is that the Son of Dathomir
That's
one?
No, that's different. That one is
that was the one that kind of filled in the gap after
it's taken
after Clone Wars, right?
Well, it's taken right from the scripts of what was supposed to be the next season of Clone Wars.
Okay.
And they took it and they turned it into a comic. I haven't read that one yet, but I just read the Darth Maul one that Bunn did, and that one is really good too. I love seeing the exploration of how these characters became it, because this one that Cullen Bunn just did is before episode 1.
Ooh.
So it's like showing like Darth Maul and just how like he is just wants revenge on the Jedi.
Yeah, so this is before. So this has happened. So obviously this has got to be happening before that meeting.
Yeah.
With Ezra and Obi-Wan on Tatooine.
Oh well, no, yeah, because it's way before
Yeah.
episode 1. I mean, we're looking before Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan even encountered him.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah,
Wow, this
like
is
way back.
Okay.
This is cool though, because like right now the Jedi still have no idea that the Sith have even come back. They sense that there's some weird presence. They don't know what it is, and Maul is kind of in the shadows, and you know Palpatine is there saying like, "Don't you ruin this? I've got a plan, and if you ruin it, I'm gonna throw you out with the trash, and I will not hesitate to do it, and I will just get another apprentice. So don't blow it, man." You know.
Yeah.
So that one was really good. The Darth Vader one is really cool though, because it's showing how the Sith. It explains how the Sith get their red or crimson lightsabers. And how they attain them. They attain them by taking them from a Jedi that they've killed, and then overpowering the kyber crystal with the dark side until it basically breaks, and the red is basically like the kyber crystal bleeding.
Yeah, that's what I had heard Pablo Hidalgo explain, or somewhere it was explained by Pablo about that, and that's and one of the and something in regards to Kylo Ren's lightsaber is because his crystal is not like, well, I guess it's physically broken, and that's why.
Well, I mean,
that's what I understood.
If what I'm getting is like that they use the dark side of it to overpower the kyber crystal to the point where it breaks and bleeds. I mean, we've seen how powerful Kylo Ren is, and how violent he can be. So maybe that explains the crack in the kyber crystal.
It could be.
But it's also kind of interesting to say like the way that the Sith. Not to say that Kylo Ren is Sith, because I think that they've kind of said that he isn't. He's just a dark Force user.
Yeah.
Is how he would have gotten his lightsaber and built it and everything. And if he's using like the way that the Sith used the kyber crystals and everything in order to create it, that's kind of cool. But yeah, this Darth Vader comic is awesome. Apparently in the most recent one, issue 10, I haven't read it yet. He encounters a Jedi who had escaped Order 66 and was in hiding, which is kind of what this comic is about. He's trying to find all the Jedi that had taken other paths,
right?
And you know, maybe they aren't practicing as Jedis right now. He still wants them dead.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
they're still technically a threat.
Exactly. And he said something to the effect of like the copy in it and the content is like you may have tried to extinguish the light by killing the Jedi, but the Force will find other vessels to travel through to balance the Force.
Yeah.
And everything. So that, I think, explains a lot of why you're seeing people using the Force that aren't the Jedi, that aren't the Sith,
right,
in the current Star Wars universe.
Are you saying like in Last Jedi with
Last Jedi, Force Awakens? I think I feel like they're trying to get you to think that, but you know, explaining it in the novels and in comic books and things like that, I don't think that's not going to get to like the guy that's just going to see the movies.
Yeah.
You know, like, nobody wants to do research. Like, I like Star Wars.
This is,
you know.
yeah.
So.
This is a little bit more for the, like, you and I with like the geeks kind of stuff.
Exactly.
You know, the people that like to know the nuts and bolts behind things.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. So yeah, I recommend that Darth Vader comic to anybody who's writing it. Charles Soule, however you pronounce his name, is also writing the Poe Dameron comic, which rumor is that the Poe Dameron comic takes place before The Force Awakens, and it's his mission to get to Lor San Tekka. You know, and he kind of goes on offshoots here and offshoots there. But they think that what's going to happen in this new run of his comic book is they're going to time jump, and it's going to be either during or after The Last Jedi.
Okay.
You know, because they got to get it current. You know,
Yeah.
There's only so much backstory that you can do on this guy before you're like, come on.
Yeah.
You know, he's advanced in the plot line. Let's get moving
let's
here.
see what's going on.
But I hear nothing but good things about those. All the Marvel Star Wars comics are pretty cool. I just read a 5-issue miniseries with Mace Windu, which was also pretty cool. So
yeah, it sounds like I got to get caught up on those. I just my thing is I was so engrossed in the regular Marvel universe that when they started doing all this weird stuff with Spider-Man and Iron Man and everything else, it just kind of soured me on the whole thing. But when I'm hearing you explain it and everything, I want to be drawn back in. That's my thing.
The best way that you can do that is just go. Sorry, local comic shops, because I'll go there and I'll get a couple single issues every now and then. But just go on Amazon and find the first volume of a character that you like. If it's a writer that you like I love J. Michael Straczynski.
Oh God, yes, he's amazing.
His run on Thor is fantastic. I believe it's through 3 volumes of Thor. I've got 2 of them. His stuff is really good. So, his stuff is great. Ed Brubaker's Captain America, or Brubaker stuff with Captain America is fantastic. So anybody who's into that can get that. I just started recently reading some of the DC Rebirth stuff. And I had read some of it moving into the Rebirth, but then I kind of fell off and I wasn't going to get the single issues anymore. So I've got the first 3 volumes of Superman Action Comics.
Right.
Which, they killed off the New 52 Superman. The other Superman from everybody else is familiar with. Yeah. Crisis on Infinite Earths, everything. Is still alive and was living on Earth in secret with Lois and their son. They had a son named John. And he is back, and he is the Superman that is now part of DC Rebirth. So it's really interesting the way that they're retconning all the stuff they did with the New 52 that people didn't necessarily like. So that's really cool. And Dan Jurgens is writing that. Nice. Dan Jurgens is Doomsday and all that.
Oh God, yeah.
So Dan Jurgens knows Superman probably better than anybody, except for the creators. So
right.
That's been a lot of fun to read for me. The Flash stuff that Joshua Williamson is doing. If you and I both love the show.
Yeah.
The comic is like the show, where it's just really compelling stuff. So, and I actually, I like the way that he was doing the Flash so much that I started picking up some of the other stuff that he's been doing. So I've got 2 volumes of Birthright through Image Comics that guy is writing, and he can write the hell out of stuff.
Wow.
So it's awesome. But I had a little Twitter exchange with Cullen Bunn because I had just picked up his Conan run that he did for Dark Horse. And he had tweeted out that Marvel has now acquired Conan back.
Yeah.
They did some interesting crossover stuff with Conan in the past, so I'm interested to see who does it. And he said, I have suspicions on who they're going to have writing it. So I just tweeted to him. I said, is it going to be Jason Aaron? Because Jason Aaron's my guy.
Yeah. Jason
Aaron is awesome. He does the current Doctor Strange stuff, and it's fantastic. And I said, because if Jason Aaron is going to do it, that'll be pretty dope. And he said, I'm not going to say any of my suspicions right now, but if they are confirmed, yes, it will be dope. So I said, that means Jason Aaron's probably going to be doing Conan, and that is pretty fantastic. So we'll have to wait and see. I bet we don't see any Conan until either way late this year,
right?
Maybe 2019, but either way, pretty sweet stuff. Cullen Bunn, of course, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, did his whole run on Magneto. Nobody handles a villain like Cullen Bunn, and that's why his Darth Maul book, I think, was so good.
Cool. All right, then definitely sold me on that. Then were there any other comics that you wanted to bring up? I mean, you're way ahead on the comics than me.
No, man, I've just been plugging away. I just reread through the first 3 volumes of the Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo run and the New 52 Batman, and I got to tell you, that's probably the best Batman comics that have ever been written.
Really?
Are those guys? Yeah. So I mean, all you have to do is you got to find a starting point, and the best way to do that is to just pick up a trade. It's gonna have a bunch of. It's gonna have at least 7 issues in it for you to get through, and that's usually one story arc.
Yeah.
You know, so you get through that, and then you just keep going and everything. I mean, some of them have only 2 to 3 volumes. Some of them have 10 volumes. It depends on the success of the writer and the character development. You know.
Well, and maybe I should go out and find Straczynski's stuff because I love Straczynski. I love him. He's awesome. You know, he did Spider-Man for a while when I was still reading it, and it was great. It was back with Ezekiel and the whole Spider Universe and all that kind of stuff, and it was just really, really good.
That's what I'm saying. Just find an author or a writer who just gets the character the way that you like the character to be gotten. For me, you know, Dan Slott, I don't like what Dan Slott does with Spider-Man, so I don't read his Spider-Man stuff. Yeah. You know, it's the same way that, you know, I felt about, at first I was really enjoying the way that Brian Michael Bendis was doing Iron Man, and then I disliked it, so I stopped reading it. And there's nothing wrong with that, because Bendis, I mean, he has so much to his credit. Yeah. Now he's going to be working for DC. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. I hope that they let Brian Michael Bendis do whatever he wants at DC. Because I would be really interested to see his take on certain characters. Yeah. Could you imagine Brian Michael Bendis doing like a Batman or a Superman or something like that?
That would be awesome.
I mean, his take on the Flash would be really cool.
That would be cool. I would love to see him write just like a one-shot episode for the TV show. Yeah. And see what that would be like. But have you noticed something else though about Brian Michael Bendis? Everybody calls him by his full name, Brian Michael Bendis.
There's some people you can't.
It is like
it's the same way with Jeff Johns. I can't say it's Jeff Johns.
Yes, he's royalty. Right. Brian Michael Bendis. You can't say, hey Brian. Right. No, Brian Michael. Yeah. No, Brian Michael Bendis. It's that. If we ever get him on this show, we have to explain. I wish we can never. You know, we can't call you Brian. Can we call you Brian? Yeah, you can. No, we can't. We got to call you Brian Michael Bendis.
BMB.
BMB. That's it. That's all. That's all you can ever.
So now DC has Brian Michael Bendis and Jeff Johns. Now Jeff Johns has written some of my favorite comics. Ever. Yep. I mean, that's another guy. Yes. If it's written by Jeff Johns, there is a good chance that is going to be a absolutely fantastic comic. You should just read it. Yep. Blindly. Don't even care. Just read it because it's going to be really well written. Yes. You know, so he's responsible for bringing a lot of characters back to life when they were, you know, DOA. Yeah. As far as DC Comics goes, I mean, he brought Green Lantern back. He brought the Flash back. You know, he handled a lot of their big stuff. You know, and he was head on, and he wrote the Rebirth one shot.
I think a lot of it is a lot of the writers, you know, before these guys. I mean, I don't think it was burnout or anything like that. I don't think it was a lack of good ideas or storytelling or anything. Yeah. I think it was just a lot of these guys just didn't quite get the whole comic book. I guess I don't want to. I'm struggling to find a word that can really express it. I mean, like the gravitas. Yeah, you know, that a lot of the classic writers have for these characters. I mean, they just know, and I think there was just a big long run of writers that really didn't get it, and so they were just throwing out, you know, basically, you know, here's some soap opera. I saw this on General Hospital once. Right. Let me try this. Right. You know, that kind of thing.
And it's not what you're looking for. You know. Yeah. As a comic book reader, I'm looking for more depth. I want a really good story. You know. Yeah. So. And I found that, so I'm really happy with currently what I read. Yeah.
And speaking of story, we have been talking about The Punisher for a long time. Yeah. And then all of a sudden we heard about he's going to have a show, and now we've got it. It's on Netflix, and I've watched the whole show. Yeah. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it didn't seem to have a lot of the shortcomings that some of the other Marvel shows on Netflix have in regards to it's kind of slow to get started.
I feel like most of the Marvel shows, it takes you 3 episodes to get set, and I felt like The Punisher was just like
it was
pedaled to the floor immediately.
I think it was bang from the get-go.
Is there 13 episodes to this? Because I'm only 4 episodes into The Punisher.
There's 13
there
episodes.
Are, okay.
And honestly, it was... I mean, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I took my time watching it. I mean, I literally didn't start it until almost like a month after it came out.
Yeah.
Simply because, you know, it was close to the holidays, and, you know, I had so much stuff going on, but I finally, you know, didn't have anything going on. I couldn't find anything. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, Punisher.
Right, exactly.
And I jumped on it, and, I mean, right from the get-go, it was, you know, an amazing ride. The you know, the whole story with Frank Castle, the dynamic relationship between Micro and Castle,
right,
was there, and and the back, you know, the backstories and all that kind of stuff. I'm really hoping that they greenlight another season of it, and we see him in, you know, a crossover with one of the other shows.
It would be nice.
I'm
mean, still waiting for the crossover with S.H.I.E.L.D. since, you know, Daisy was seen, or when she was Skye at the time, wasn't she? She was palling around. She had a little disc in her car that said microchip, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, micro or something.
Yeah.
I mean, and she referenced them, and
right.
Honestly, I think we should be seeing that kind of.
It would be cool,
stuff.
But I doubt it. Disney's launching their own streaming service, and I do believe that all of that stuff that is available with Netflix, with Disney, that includes the Marvel shows, will now only be available with that streaming service, which is supposed to start later this year. So
yeah, well, it's kind of already started a little bit. They've got something going on, and you know, that's something I'll probably talk about in a side show, not this.
Yeah.
Maybe like, you know, one of my From the Geek Cave videos that I haven't done in a while. So
I mean, I'm gonna have to buy that streaming app because I've seen Moana like 4 times in the last 3 days. Like, I can't anymore, man. I can't do Moana anymore. But
so
it's
are you singing thank you in your head right now?
Oh yes. I mean,
or you're welcome or not?
We own it on Blu-ray and it's on Netflix.
Oh,
you know?
gee.
So now Logan hands me the remote control, which has a Netflix button on it, and he just goes, Nuana, 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 and I'm like, again, play. I'm gonna go kill myself.
Yeah, this is I'm probably gonna end up having to get it too. I mean, we've got for the holiday gift. You know, my gift to the whole family was we got a couple of Apple TVs.
Nice.
Got one in the living room, one in the bedroom for me and Kim, and I mean that's what we do. It's Netflix and Hulu primarily. We're gonna probably.
And you can do HBO on there too.
Oh yeah,
right?
we can do.
a ton of them.
We can do HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, the whole 9 yards. We're gonna, you know, not to plug them, but I mean Sling TV. We're gonna do Sling TV.
Yep.
So we can watch some live stream stuff. I mean, we've got the HGTV and DIY channel, and they let you watch some free shows and all that. But I mean, there's times where you want to watch live TV and and TNT. They've got some good stuff on.
I just want to be I like being able to just turn my TV on and put on some nonsense show on the cooking channel. That's what I want to do.
There you go. Or even Food TV or something.
Yeah.
Food Network Star, next Food Network Star. Kim likes that.
Right.
Those kinds of things. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've started exploring, you know, everything on there, and you know, with the realization that Disney is going to be starting their own stuff, and you know, seeing, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is on Netflix now,
right?
And that's going to be gone, and you know, you've got Rogue One on Netflix, but we're probably not going to see, you know, and Force Awakens came out before that. We're not seeing that on there.
Now, weren't they working on a Star Wars live action show? I heard that. Something about that?
There was talk of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I mean, if that doesn't go someplace like a network, which I doubt, or like on Amazon, I think that would also be an exclusive Disney thing. I mean, you know, I joked around about, you know, the CBS app and everything, because like, what do I need that for? Like, I want to watch Star Trek Discovery, but I'm not going to pay for one show and everything. But I feel like with this Disney one, like, there's going to be so much content on there that I want, that I'm just gonna pay the $10 a month and say screw it.
It's. I mean,
you know, I don't do Hulu, so.
I mean, we're kind of borrowing my sister-in-law's account.
That's so weird. You know, all of my in-laws use my Netflix.
Thanks, Melissa. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I mean, but I was never a big Hulu fan because of the commercials. You're paying $10 a month, and you're still getting
get rid of the commercials.
Yeah,
I like that Netflix lets me skip the intros to shows now.
I know, that's even cooler.
That's the best thing because all their intros are like at least a minute long.
I know.
You know?
I mean, that took out at least 10 minutes total time of my watching Voltron.
Right, with the exception of Black Mirror, which is real quick.
Oh yeah, I mean, I started watching that. I get it's an anthology, but it's kind of
your mind is all screwed up now.
Yeah, I'm all weirded.
It's like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's like the Twilight Zone. Each episode is its own continuous thing.
Yeah.
Or not continuous, it's its own thing.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to watch them in order. You can watch them in whatever order you wanted.
Yeah,
really.
I literally jumped in on one
different.
episode I didn't even know, But everybody was telling me Black Mirror.
It's a screwed up show, some of it, man.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
All right, but getting back to the Punisher. So you're 4 episodes in. I mean, what's your overall thinking right now on it?
Oh, I love it so far. 4 episodes in, and it's fantastic. The way that they are handling not just the Punisher, but other aspects of like soldiers coming home, the difficulties that they're facing, the PTSD, and everything like that. Like they're just trying to find their footing. The
subplot.
I like that. You know what I mean? Like now like they're like I'm coming home and I feel useless. My country has put so much into training me and making me into something that I get home and there's no place for me outside of that.
This is pure Marvel, where in the comics they were taking on social issues, and now they're, we're starting to see that in the shows. Yeah, and Punisher is a great example, for the kind of things that our veterans are dealing with after. Right. I mean, we're technically, we're still fighting over in Afghanistan.
Oh yeah, no, there's still boots on the ground.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, it's you feel bad for these guys. They volunteered to do this work. Yeah. For us out of love of country, and they're not getting. I don't think they're getting as much support. But that's another thing. Right. But I mean, this is a good way to bring that subject up front and start talking about it and getting a dialogue out there and hopefully leading to an answer at some point. But
they're handling it really well. I like it so far. Yeah. So I'll probably have to I'm gonna watch a few more episodes tonight, I think. So.
Yeah, I mean, are you put off by? I mean, that was one of the other things too about the Punisher that a lot of people were worried about was the graphic content and all that. I honestly didn't think it was any worse than any other movie I've seen.
No, I don't think it's any. I think the Punisher is a violent character. Yeah, it's a violent comic book. Yeah. So it's a violent show. It's no different than watching Game of Thrones or anything like that.
Definitely not a show you want to let your kids watch.
I don't think kids should be watching any of the Marvel Netflix shows.
I don't think so either.
Netflix shows in general, not even Stranger Things.
Yeah. I mean, I was very hesitant to let my 15-year-old watch Stranger Things, but
she could handle it because those kids are around her age. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I can see that, but I definitely would not let her watch Punisher.
Oh, absolutely.
No. I mean, Luke Cage, and I mean, those are a lot less, violent and graphic as compared to the Punisher. But no way I would let my 15-year-old kid watch Punisher. Right. No way.
No way.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want to have to explain the not violent, but the very rough sex between Luke Cage and Jessica Jones.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are they doing? Play wrestling.
Thud, 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 thud.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's our
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah.
S.H.I.E.L.D. Let them watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., The Flash, Supergirl. I think I'm going to tune into this Black Lightning show, by the way. That's starting tonight. As we're recording today, Black Lightning premieres tonight. Yeah. I think I'm going to tune into it. I think I'm going to check it out. Give it an episode.
Yeah, I'll give it a watch and see how it goes. I mean, a lot of people are saying really good things about it.
I mean, hopefully it doesn't go the way of Inhumans for me, which I watched 2 episodes and I said, nope, I'm not watching any more of this garbage show.
Now, is this supposed to be tied in with the other Berlanti shows?
I don't know. I think we're going to have to wait and see. I think that they said that it was almost going to exist on its own, but I don't think you can. How can you bring another DC superhero in and say that he's not going to be involved unless you have another person coming over from yet another Earth because they went about it and put it on a different network? But I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. So
should be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Isn't Black Lightning from like the Super Friends?
I think he was a pure creation for Super Friends.
Something like that, or some variation of it. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that he ended up. He was kind of popular, and so they gave him a I think they gave him a title back in the
Probably.
70s and 80s. I think I have to look. I mean, I honestly, I'm not up on the history of the character.
Well, I mean, I just like the way that they're doing the show, where it's a guy that was a superhero who is not a superhero anymore and has to come out of retirement almost to try and take like his city back and protect people. So I dig that. That's kind of cool.
So I mean, that right there kind of makes me think it's probably one of those alternate Earth type of things.
Could be. Yeah.
So multiverse type. Okay. But moving on from Punisher, there, one of the I mean, we were going to talk about gaming, because I had asked you about gaming, and you really didn't have anything new. I mean, I kind of fell into something here, and this is a little bit on the retro gaming side. Well,
retro-ish, early 2000s, right?
Yeah, early 2000s. I guess you can call it retro. But honestly,
that was almost 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, that's true. 2000.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2000, because the game ran about 2006, maybe 2005, 2006, something like that. Well, anyway, so there was a game, City of Heroes. I've talked about it before here. It was run by a company out of Korea. It was doing great here in the U.S. Didn't do too great over in Korea. So but I guess, for whatever reason, whatever their reason was financially or whatever, they decided to end the game after like 7 years.
Okay.
And it had grown this huge base here in the U.S. Lots of people. The community, it's one of those really tight fan communities that everybody got into it and everybody was happy. They hung out and all that. And there's still gatherings of the former players at PAX.
Yeah.
The PAX Gaming Convention and at Gen Con, I think actually. Gen Con out in Ohio. They always do a meetup. Well, ever since the game sunset, people have been wanting to play, and there's been some projects to try to revive it here and there. There's been some independent work on trying to get a newer version of the game, or like a kind of like a spiritual successor, they're calling them, into up and going. And there's a couple of them. There's Valiance Online, which looks really good. It's like an updated, and honestly, there's only one, as far as I know, there's only one superhero MMO out there right now. City of Heroes was an MMO. The only one out there is Champions Online. And a lot of people that played City of Heroes are not too big on it, even though Cryptic Studios, the company that originally worked on City of Heroes, worked on this. They say it's very much a pale comparison. But anyway, fast forward to now, we've got some different people working on projects. The two big ones right now, well, more like three, is Paragon Chat. That's run by the Titan Network. It's a website, cohtitan.com, and it's basically where they take the old client from the last version of the game, and they've basically jerry-rigged it with some open source software so that the clients can all talk to each other through a common chat server. And it basically, you can run around the city again.
Right.
And some of the powers are working. They've figured out how to do all that, but you can't do combat, you can't do missions or anything like that. Valiance Online, which I mentioned earlier, which is basically from a ground up recreation of the game, or a new game essentially based on the spirit of City of Heroes, where you're a superhero in a big city. It's far into the future, like 2040, 2050 or something like that, and it's very futuristic looking, and they're using modern gaming engine technology in order to do this. Before City of Heroes was built, basically before we had Unreal Engine, back before we had Unity and all those other kinds of tools that programmers can use. So you got that. You've got Missing Worlds Media, which is also doing one called City of Titans. Valiance is much farther along. They're already on Steam. They've got a alpha going. You can get in on it. You pay $25. Boom, you're in the alpha, and you can play around all you want.
Nice.
Missing Worlds Media with City of Titans. Seeing a lot of videos. They're obviously working on something, but nothing yet that you can play, and there's still a couple of years, I guess they're saying, away. So up comes this other little project that's been going on for the past 10 years or so. It's called it's basically a City of Heroes emulator. It's a server, so you can play the old game with all the content, because a lot of the content was already in the client program, the software you had on your computer. The server basically was like the referee. It told you who you were fighting, damage, all that kind of stuff. Took care of the powers and all that on the server end. But the client, a lot of the stuff was in there. So we've got a lot of that information from that client. And there was a gentleman that basically managed to help crack a lot of that. He lives in Poland. He's actually working on this emulator now, and I kind of fell into this project a few years back. I found it because I wanted to play City of Heroes, and now he's got this project going, and it's not as far along as what you would think after 10 years, because he's basically been doing it by himself.
Yeah.
But in the last couple of months, there have been some other people that have jumped into this project now that know more about the coding of these kinds of things than I can. I mean, I dabble in a language called Python, way different than what they're using, which is C++. This is like what all the other games use, like, you know, Call of Duty and all of that. You know, Mass Effect and all that. They all use, you know, the C++ programming language. Much more complex. I got zero clue. I'm totally lost on it. But anyway, these guys have actually made more progress now in the last few months than, you know, this other guy that's running it has done in the last 10 years, because he's got help and he's got guys that know what's going on. So I wanted to mention this project because, you know, the more people, and I don't know if anybody who codes game, you know, if there's any gaming people or coders or anything that used to play City of Heroes that know anything about this, but it's kind of like a call out to, you know, if you can contribute, you know, go to GitHub, you can find it. It's called SEGS, Super Entity Game Server, and it's really great. I mean, I've got it set up on my PC here where I can actually log into the first map, Atlas Park, in Paragon City, in City of Heroes, and you can just, you know, basically you can look around. There's no real server to tell you well where you are or anything. So if you try moving around, you get what's called rubber banding. You go a little ways, but then you jump back to where you were, because the server's catching. You know, there's nothing there to kind of officiate where you are as a relationship to everybody else.
Right.
But anyway, I wanted to make note of this project simply because it's come so far that now it's starting to look like we're, you know, it's you know, it's only a matter of maybe a year or two that we have something that's really substantial for this project, if that, maybe even less, depending. And this is just one of those personal pet project things I wanted to bring out, and I figured this was a good place because there's a lot of geeks, you know, obviously. And,
that's why we have a show.
Yeah, that's why we have a show, and we've talked about gaming before.
Yeah.
You know, Call of Duty and you know, and all that. Quake. I love Quake, that kind of thing. But I wanted to bring this up just because I think it's a really it's you know, it's a good game, and I'm hoping other people will want to maybe get in on this and kind of be a part of it. So
nice.
But yeah, if you want to find out, I'll put a link in you know, up on the website, you know, where we post the episodes, as well as on the YouTube page.
Cool.
So, but you know, maybe I can get you into it. I don't know.
You never know.
You never know. Got an old PC lying around? We can set you up.
I wish I did.
All right. Well, maybe I can help you out with that too. But all right. So I did my little spiel. We wanted to talk about some of the upcoming movies that are coming out. MCU's got some stuff coming up.
Yeah, I mean, well, Black Panther first and foremost.
Yep.
We got that coming out in February.
Chadwick Boseman.
And then after that is going to be the Avengers Infinity War. So there's got to be some significant, I think, setup with Black Panther leading into it. There's
got to be, because I mean, we've seen in Infinity War trailers that we've gotten, the little snippets and all that.
Yeah.
There's some action going on in Wakanda.
Yes,
so
an invasion.
There's got to be a setup in there somewhere. If not in the movie itself, then in the end credit scenes.
One of the Infinity Stones has to be in Wakanda, powering something of some sort. So we'll have to see that. Maybe we'll get to see some Cap. Or maybe we'll get to see some Bucky waking up or something, because you know we went back into cryo sleep at the end of Civil War. So it should be interesting either way. I'm interested to see how they set things up with their end credit scenes that they do in the MCU films. So that should be fun, though, man. Black Panther looks awesome.
It does.
It looks fantastic.
It really does look great, and I mean, I just oh man, I want to see, and this is really great that you know, a character that's so prominent in the comics is finally getting, you know, it's kind of like with Wonder Woman in DC. I mean, she had a TV show, but never really made the transition anywhere else, and it was just so phenomenal when Wonder Woman came in. I think it's going to be just as phenomenal with Black Panther. And Chadwick Boseman did an awesome job in Civil War.
Yeah.
I mean,
the introduction to Black Panther in Civil War is really good. So, I mean, it made me hungry for more.
Yes.
So I will be checking that.
Yes, definitely. And then in regards to Avengers,
Yeah.
wow. I mean, from what we've seen, very big scenes going on there, especially in Wakanda.
Right.
And the Guardians of the freaking Galaxy.
Right.
And everything else. I think this is going to be, man. I think. Do you think this is going to be a bigger summer for Marvel than in years past? I mean, I know I'm kind of moving into like a phase 3 with them.
Whenever they've got an Avengers film, I think it's a big summer for them because they've got everybody, all together, assembled, if you will. So as long as they have that big movie, like Thor was a good Thor Ragnarok was a movie, but I feel like you got to be a big Thor fan in order to go see that. So it's not going to make an Avengers level money or an Iron Man or something like that.
I thought Ragnarok was, I thought it was way better than Dark World and the original.
It just had a totally different tone to it.
Yeah.
Thor didn't take himself so serious.
Yeah.
Which I found that to be more appealing.
Yeah.
I like Thor. I like when Thor is serious, though. Like I said, I like the Straczynski run in the comics, and Thor's super serious.
Yeah.
In that, when you think about Thor, a lot of it is written a lot like Shakespearean type stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I dig it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't wait. This is gonna be a good summer for Marvel.
And then isn't the Han Solo movie comes out this year too, right?
Han Solo comes out this year in December. Yep, Ron Howard. But we haven't gotten a trailer or teaser or anything. Nothing. Well, they just wrapped. I mean, they just wrapped production a while ago, and they still haven't changed from the original release date, even though the previous director got fired. So, yeah, I don't know how that's going to work.
I'm curious to see what a Han Solo movie is going to be like.
Yeah, I mean, we know we got Lando and I can't remember what from Game of Thrones. She's playing one of the love interests, isn't she?
Who?
She plays Khaleesi. Emilia Clarke.
Oh, was she in? I didn't know she was in.
I thought she was in.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
To IMDb, maybe.
Yeah, maybe you'd have to check that out because I'm not sure.
Look, because I could have sworn that she was in it, and no, I don't want to submit my location.
Yeah. Get out of here, IMDb. You don't need to know where I am for me to look up movie.
You don't know
information,
me, man.
Cast, characters, episode names, and times.
You don't know me, man.
Why does everybody want to know that? Every app wants you to know a location at this point.
I could be wrong. Strange. Maybe I'm thinking of some other movie. Yeah, Emilia Clarke. She's in it. Yeah, she's first up on the list. Okay. Paul Bettany's in it. Really?
Oh, that is interesting.
I'm Donald Glover. I mean, he's Lando.
Right.
Warwick Davis. I mean, it's Warwick Davis in a Star Wars movie is kind of like John Ratzenberger in a Pixar movie.
Right.
You can't have a Star Wars movie without Warwick Davis.
No, he'll be playing somebody.
Yeah. Paul Bettany. That was. I mean, we knew about Woody Harrelson.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's very. That's weird, but yeah, Emilia Clarke, Q-I apostrophe R-A is the name of her character. Very weird. Oh, here, let me unplug my phone and I can throw it up there. Yeah, there she is there on the live stream, far left side. So
well, there you go. That's kind of cool. I did not realize that. I haven't looked much into this Solo movie though because there was all the drama with the director and then Ron Howard picking it up, and we haven't seen much. We haven't really seen set photos or
Ron Howard's been tweeting him. If he's been tweeting him and throwing him on his Instagram, I believe.
Oh, well, so, I am not following Ron Howard. Well, then
why are you not following Ron Howard,
right?
Sir?
Come on,
the unmitigated gold, sir.
Yes.
I don't understand it. Man of your stature not following Ron Howard.
But I mean that movie. I'm interested.
We'll see. I'm interested too. I mean, okay, I'm going to save it for Last Jedi because we're coming to Last Jedi.
Yeah, because speaking of Star Wars, we're going to talk about Last Jedi now.
But we don't forget. Did we already talk about the Deadpool movie date? That was on.
I thought we talked about that in the
yes, we did.
Yeah, the show.
Okay, let's go. Yeah, all right.
May 18th.
My list
for those of you.
My list is out of order.
Yes.
So
May 18th.
May 18th. All right. But Last Jedi. Let's move into the Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Since we're at the Star Wars. All right. I know what I want to say. What what do you want to say about The Last Jedi?
The Last Jedi was I like The Last Jedi. I thought it was interesting. I like the way that they kind of, the way that they did stuff with Luke Skywalker was really interesting to me. And I also have to say that all this stuff started coming out about how Mark Hamill had mentioned to Rian Johnson that he didn't like the direction and whatnot until he had made the movie and seen the movie and understood what was happening.
Yeah.
And then he went onto his Instagram page and he said, I immediately regret saying anything like that to the press because they twisted my words. Yeah. You know, he's like, upon first reading of the script and everything, he was just like, I don't know, like, what you're doing to this character, what you're doing to me, what you're doing to my character and whatnot. He's like, and then after watching the movie and finding out and realizing about how it all played through and how it looked and everything like that, you know, he enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it too. I thought it was awesome to kind of see, you know, what had happened because, you know, Luke Skywalker, and they make mention of it in Last Jedi all the time, the legendary Luke Skywalker, the big guy. He, you know, they need him to come in and save the day. And he's almost like, it's almost like he's sick of it. He wants to be removed from it because it's just almost like, you know, it destroyed his life.
It's kind of, it's almost like how Alec Guinness felt about Obi-Wan. Yeah. You know, towards the end of his, near the end of his career and his life. I mean, because he was so sick of the fans coming up to him about it. I mean, he enjoyed making the movie. He thought it was, you know, I heard him say, you know, he thought it was more like an amusement kind of thing for people, but he didn't realize so many people would take it so seriously, and it kind of threw him off guard. And I mean, he was a very serious actor, very accomplished actor. One of my favorite movies of him, you know, before Star Wars was Bridge on the River Kwai.
Oh, it's a great movie.
I mean, my family had it on videotape. Was, you know, back when I was a little kid, and on video cassette, VHS, and I watched that movie, you know, because it was a good movie because it had Obi-Wan in it, but I got to see so much more to it.
And he's a great actor.
He is. He's an amazing actor. So you know, I think that's kind of how everything kind of went down in that regard. But I mean, my take on Last Jedi, I enjoyed the movie. Yeah, I did enjoy the movie. I, however, did not like the way they told the story.
It could be pretty.
How they told.
It could be pretty. It could be pretty muddled at parts. I would agree with that. Like just like certain points didn't line up and stuff like that. I think goes back to what I was saying about the comics is like they're almost like expecting people to know more before they go in, and I don't know if that's a great way to go into a movie. You know what I mean? To make a movie.
Well, I mean, for me, it was more like, you know, and this is not a knock on Rian Johnson. It's just that going into this, I had such higher hopes because JJ, to me, his style to me just did not fit with a Star Wars movie. The way he makes a film, I felt like, you know, Force Awakens, I had my my things with it. I thought it was a good movie. Yeah, I didn't like the way the story was told. Now here I am again with Last Jedi in that same kind of situation. I did feel some of the humor was kind of forced here and there.
But too much of that in movies right now.
My thing was, I was expecting more of a George Lucas feel. Saturday afternoon kind of thing, a movie for the kids. It's you know,
after we went and saw The Last Jedi, my wife was curious because she had never seen the prequels and everything, so I decided to break them out. I got the whole saga on Blu-ray for Christmas. Yeah. And rewatching them, I'm glad they didn't make them like that because those movies are awful. The episode 1 was way worse than I remember it because I probably haven't seen episode 1 since I don't remember. And I was like, man, George Lucas was just not good at dialogue. He was just like the way that he got like I was reading a quote from him. He was like, yeah, he's like, episode 1 was a little clunky. At one point we're here, and then all of a sudden we're at war with oh god, what the heck? The Gungans. Yeah, he's like, all of a sudden the Gungans are in a battle, and all this is happening all at once. He's like, and it's just kind of like, I didn't really get there. I just kind of put it there and made it happen and everything like that. But I like the way Rian Johnson told this story though, because it was totally different. He got way more into how the Force is different, and it doesn't have to just be Jedi and Sith and everything. It's just kind of an entity.
Yeah, I mean that for me wasn't a big deal. I mean, a lot of what we saw in The Last Jedi we've seen before.
Yeah.
In like Rebels and in Clone Wars and that kind of stuff. So I mean, I really don't feel like anything new was there.
Right.
In that regard.
Well, except for the Leia thing, which is weird.
Well, the Leia thing, we've seen that in Rebels.
Yeah.
If you've watched Rebels, I mean, we've seen that with Kanan.
But that's another case of us.
Yeah,
having known more
exactly,
and not having to know as much going in.
There's going to be those little nuggets for the geeks, and I think that's what Ryan wrote that's what Ryan did for the movies, because Kasdan wrote the movies again, and it's I don't know. I feel like Kasdan kind of. I think he put too much of his head into it. He was thinking too much into it. But that's neither here nor there. My main point of it didn't feel like a George Lucas Star Wars, which is what I was expecting. And honestly, with the fact that George is no longer in the picture anymore in regards to Star Wars, it was kind of naive to think that. I admit that, but still.
See, I feel like this one had more of the same feel that I got from Rogue One.
Yeah.
Rogue
One was made for the adults. I feel like it was made for the adults, but it still had that George Lucas kind of feel. And I think there was also some of the beats in Last Jedi, that maybe I missed in regards to like you don't hear anybody say the actual words, I have a bad feeling about this. Come to find out, it was BB-8 that was actually saying it, and Rian Johnson is, confirms that, and that was one of my little nitpicky things about it. It's like, well, nobody said it. Nobody said it.
Did Poe ever say, "We got company"? Because he said it a lot in Force Awakens.
Yeah,
we got company. We got company.
I would have to see it again for that, but I mean. I did have a lot of little nitpicky things for Last Jedi, but overall, I did enjoy the movie. It was fun. It advanced the characters and the story and everything like that.
That's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Like I want to be done with the backstory stuff. I want to move forward, and I want to see what these people can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, show me what they can do. It's like Rian Johnson had like a blueprint in front of him and said, all right, sorry, JJ, but you know what? I don't want to do any of this messy crap that you got me into, and threw it out the window,
Right. And that was one of my things with JJ too and Kasdan. I mean, they tried, and I think that kind of blew up in their face with Force Awakens, trying to, because it was so much like A New Hope.
Too much mystery.
Everybody knew what was going on.
Right, everybody knew what was going on, but there was too much left behind. So who are Rey's parents, which I still think is up in the air. Even though Kylo Ren says they're nobody, they were junkers, they sold you for a drink or something like that. You know what I mean?
How would he know, though?
Right, how would he know? Exactly. So I think that he's just... I still think that finding out who her parents really are still up in the air.
The other thing, too, that I'm glad has happened now is we don't have to worry about these frickin' Snoke theories anymore.
No, there are people out there that don't believe that he is actually gone from it and everything. So
shoot them now.
You never know.
Shoot them now. If I knew I could find stormtroopers that could actually hit something, I'd line them up.
I think that's the problem, though, is like, because, you have all these people that they wanted it to be what they wanted it to be. And you know what I mean? Like, people had their theories and their ideas. And Force Awakens, The Last Jedi was really good at not confirming any of those nonsensical theories. And that's what so many people were so mad about, was that none of what they thought was true. Oh, Rey's not a granddaughter of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Snoke isn't Boba Fett, and all this other crap, or he's gone, he's dead, and he's gone.
They killed all this stuff. I don't know why we still have all these stupid Snoke rumors flying around, because they already said Snoke is an original character. He's new, no connection to everything previous. He's there. He's he's obviously got some kind of backstory, but it doesn't have anything to do with the Old Republic, the Empire, or anything like that.
You know what's crazy is like, so think about when Star Wars originally came out.
Yes.
All right, so the first glimpse you get of the Emperor is just a hologram in Empire Strikes Back.
Dude
What is
with a
thy
cloak
bidding?
over
Right.
his head.
What is thy
That's-
bidding, my master?
Yeah.
No one's questioning it.
Yeah.
It's the Emperor. You know he's a bad dude, and
Yeah.
you know what's going on
Yes.
with that and everything. So then you get more of the Emperor in Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
And there's no, you don't have the backstory. And guess what? He ends up dying. It's the same way as Snoke.
Yes.
He's very powerful.
Yep.
He's trying to manipulate somebody,
Yep.
and he ends up falling to an apprentice. So
Yes.
in that way, very, very similar.
So,
So-
yeah, so I mean, I don't understand why all of these people are freaking out about this stuff.
I honestly blame a lot of it on the fact that we went back and made the prequels, because it gave backstory. So you went back and made the prequels, so now everybody thinks everything has to have a connection. A movie can't
Yeah.
just stand on its own.
Yeah,
and
I think-
have original characters. Everybody's got to be related to somebody.
George, I think you spoiled us.
Yeah.
I really do. But I mean, and that was, well, I mean, that was the other thing too. I mean, the very first three movies were about Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
And then the first three, the prequels were about Anakin and his fall to the dark side. And
Right.
that's how it all tied in. Because the first 6 movies were just all about the Skywalker family, and that's it. Now we've got these new characters forging out on their own, which is great because, I mean, you don't really see... I mean, when you look at Rebels,
Yeah.
the animated show, you see some of the classic characters in there. There's connections to them story-wise, but not like... it's the rebellion and all that, but it's not like, this is such and such's daughter. This is such and such as, that kind of thing.
Right.
I mean, even though Hera is a Twi'lek, she's not related to, some of these other characters that we've seen before. I mean,
Right. It's like I look at Star Wars, the new trilogy that they're coming out with. You have to look at it in the way that Star Trek, the original series, and Star Trek The Next Generation are similar because they are Star Trek.
Yes.
But they are different characters telling different stories.
Yes.
Some of the stuff with similar origins, but not the same. It's really cool when they bring a classic character on, like when they would bring on a DeForest Kelly and stuff like that.
Yep.
But not necessary.
It's exactly. And I think a lot of people are kind of missing that with...
We're trying to tell a new story in this universe with new characters.
And I get that. And I like that.
Right.
My complaint was that I felt like I wanted it to be more like how George Lucas tells a story. That was my main concern.
So my question for you is, will you go into the next one not expecting that, since you've come to terms with the fact that George is not even in the picture anymore?
I will.
Yeah.
I'm sure though that, I mean, old habits are hard to break, so I'm
I'm
going to
just
have some stuff to complain about.
I just go, everybody does. I go into like the Marvel movies or the Star Wars movies or the DC movies, provided the fact that all the DC films have pretty much been directed by Zack Snyder, with the exception of Joss Whedon cleaning things up in Justice League, didn't even help it.
Yeah.
And Patty Jenkins doing such an incredible job with Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Like, so when it's a Zack Snyder, I know what the vision is going to be. I know it's going to be there, similar to you with George Lucas and everything. But I like going into like these Star Wars movies and maybe not knowing, like, I don't know how Rian Johnson is going to tell this story.
Yeah.
So J.J. Abrams is doing the next one. So we kind of know how that's going to go, but maybe they're going to dial it back a little bit so it's not so much Force Awakens.
Right.
And it borrows a little bit, because I liked how Ryan did it. I like how it went a little bit more in depth with the Force, in depth with the characters, and, a little bit more emotional and dark and stuff like that. I hope that they borrow from that a little bit.
I'm hoping that I mean, my thing is, and I am of the opinion that Dave Filoni should be the heir apparent to the Star Wars universe, simply because he worked so closely with George on Clone Wars and then with Rebels before George left, that I feel he's got he knows exactly how the story should be told, how the universe is kind of laid out, and where the stories can kind of go in that regards to even the newer characters. I mean, he's done that with Kanan and with Kanan and Ezra and Hera and Chopper and all of that on the animated show. And I think I think he would be a great guide for even the live-action movies or even a live-action TV show. I don't understand why they're not tapping him in that regard. I think they should.
It makes you curious, right? Like, so why hasn't he done it? Maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he'd rather tell like a long form story than a movie. You know what I mean?
That is kind of his more of his forte. But I honestly think if you gave him a trilogy, because they're giving Rian Johnson a brand new trilogy,
right?
So I get it. I'll go see it. I mean, new characters, I'll be into it.
It makes me wonder when does that take place? You know, if Rian Johnson now did such a good job with The Last Jedi, so he gets 3 more films.
Yeah.
Like, where does it take place? Who, you know, was that him at the end with that little kid? Is that him establishing, you know, his next characters that are coming after this or something like that? You know,
we kind of don't know.
It takes me back to that Darth Vader comic where they say the Force finds its way into other things. Doesn't have to be the Sith. Doesn't have to be the Jedi. The Force will find its way into other things. So yeah, so it'll be interesting moving forward. We got a lot of Star Wars coming our way.
Yeah.
Including Star Wars Land, which will be completed next year at Disney.
Yes, and thankfully, Catherine will be in a couple of years old enough to remember, and then that's where basically I'm going to be going to Disney with my family.
Yeah.
I've already got it planned. We're going to spend at least 4 days there.
Okay.
3 of which are going to be with my family.
Oh, and then one day by yourself?
I don't know where you guys are going. I'm going over there to Star Wars Land. That's where you can find me.
Immerse yourself.
I'll have my phone.
Yeah.
You know, if there's an emergency, call me. Otherwise, I'll meet you for dinner.
Right,
You know, that kind of thing. So,
yeah.
That's how it's going to go.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Oh,
fun rides.
I mean, that's pretty much all we had on the list in regards to everything going on.
Yeah.
Obviously it was kind of slim pickings, really, simply because we're just coming out of the holiday, and now we're back up to strength.
Our shows are coming back too.
Our shows are restarting. Yeah, Supergirl just started up last night. Gifted started last night.
Or Gifted ended last night. It was the finale.
Oh, that's right. It was the finale because it was a mid-season kind of thing. Yep. So, oh man, what's that gonna happen? I mean, you got to watch it. You got to watch it.
I do.
You got to watch it.
I know.
Lots of shades of X-Men in there.
Nice.
Lots of shades of X-Men. And as I was watching it today, my thing was, I wanted so badly, because there was so much going on. I wanted so badly for just one character to flash eyes yellow and be like, "Oh, Mystique!" That kind of thing. That's kind of what I was hoping to get.
Well, you never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
We'll have to see how the movies work out for him.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes with Dark Phoenix and everything else. So, all right. So if you want to find us, you know where. Well, you should be able to know where to find us by now. iTunes, Podcastpedia, Stitcher, as well as the iHeartRadio app, and YouTube. We got a YouTube channel that you can watch all the live streams while we're recording, and then watch them again later on when you want to. So go check it out. And follow us on Twitter, Geek Show Radio. For myself and BJ, stay geeky.